Hello, it's another episode of the What Not to Do series, and today we're excited to welcome Manisha Arora, Principal Consultant at LTI Mindtree. With extensive experience in digital transformation, Manisha has been instrumental in guiding organizations through complex change initiatives. Her expertise lie in aligning business strategies with technology, ensuring that the companies not only adopt new tools but also foster a culture of innovation. We are happy to have Manisha join with us today. Welcome, Manisha. It's great to have you here. Yes, Manisha. So, as principal consultant at LTI Mindtree, you've really carved out a digital niche as a like a niche in digital transformation. What initially drew you to this field, and how has your journey changed over the
So I
years?
call myself over the years polymath because I've changed many fields. I was in data, I was in change, I was analyst, then I was product manager, then I was product leader, and then now I'm consulting. So I've changed many hats, specifically in
Hmm.
technology field. But over the years, I realized that consulting really connects what actually I think and I want to do in future for next 5 to 10 years because it encompasses everything what I'm trying to do in multiple fields. So digital transformation really enhances the portfolio that I currently have and also connects me there because we get to learn various domains, various industries within the one ecosystem. So that really excites me and that actually pulled me when I started in consulting.
Right. It's always interesting to hear like how professionals like yourself grow into their roles. So I'm sure you had like your share of learning experiences along the way. So can you share a pivotal mistake you made that really shaped your approach to leadership and
So
consulting?
I always thought that there is just one way of looking at technology. That okay, there are very specific outcomes that you
Mhm.
think that you can drive out of any engagement, especially when it comes to digital transformation. But slowly, I realized that's not the case. There are so many multi-factors which you have to consider, specifically people. People is a core part of what you do. So I think if you any digital transformation journey with any organization in any project, that if you're not considering the main factor which is people, I think that's where the success lies. So you really need to ensure that your stakeholders align, the people who are involved within your teams and from the client's team, they are really understand what exactly that you're looking for and they are aligned to it, your overall journey. Yes.
And right, right. That's a very interesting point actually, because in this entire digital era where people are actually considering that technology is going to take over, it's actually the people who are in the center, and I think that's a really important point you mentioned. So, Manisha, from your perspective as a principal consultant, how crucial is it to align business strategies and with technology adaptation? Can you give us an example of what not to do situations where companies missed the
So
mark on this?
I would say, for example, current trend, which is Gen AI. Everybody is talking about Gen AI, that companies need to
Mm-hmm.
transform themselves. They really need to improve their efficiency. Company like mine, we are LTI Mindtree and we are services company. For us, it becomes all the more important that we are ready to serve our clients on time. So we need to be ahead of the curve always. But in that rush, we encounter a couple of clients where they have no idea. They have money, they are ready to spend, but they have no clue. We help those organizations that find
Mm.
a way to how to navigate this channel. But I think that it's a hype cycle. We are just in the beginning, and companies are making mistakes that investing too much in it, and some companies are not investing because they have no idea. So
Mhm.
I think the biggest thing that most of the organizations should consider is just to wait after the hype cycle, when the fog gets cleared after the hype cycle, because it happens in the past as well. Earlier, blockchain, data, and we had
Mm.
NFTs, we had crypto, we had so many hype cycles. I think AI is real, Gen AI is real. It will definitely go beyond the hype. But I think waiting and
Right,
just understanding how the ecosystem evolves really help the organization. If they are not doing it, it will actually
right,
unnecessary go for the projects which they will it will not be a success. So I would think that wait is the right thing to
right.
do.
Right, right. Absolutely. That's a really good point. Optimizing the technology with respect to the customized need of the business is something that people are kind of missing out. They're just like, because this is something new, we want to get into it, or because this is something new, and we just want to try it out, and it's like not always compatible with the strategy, business strategy that you are
And we are
utilizing
not
at
there
this
yet.
point in time.
We are
So,
not there
really good
yet
point.
to optimize it because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
technology is still evolving.
Right, right, absolutely. So, Manisha, you have worked on some big transformation projects. What's a common pitfall you see organizations fall during digital transformation, and how can they surely clear it off? Like,
Again,
just
they
avoid
will.
it.
I think the biggest pitfall is not aligning with the stakeholders. So sometimes you only talking to CIOs,
Hmm.
sometimes you only talking to the CTO. You are just talking to a couple of people, which are your main stakeholders, who will be ultimately making the decisions. But what happens is people you're working with day in, day out, that becomes very crucial. Instead, if you are not having a
Hmm.
stakeholder alignment, from every level, be at the top, at
Hmm.
the bottom, in the mid. I think that is the biggest pitfall, and not to do things. First, focus on your stakeholder alignment, then figure out the roadmap, then figure out the KPIs, then figure out the outcomes.
Right, right. So because you mentioned, people are just rushing into, adaptation of new technology. I want to ask you, question based on that only. What are the mistakes you've seen businesses make when they rush into their digital initiatives without, laying the right
So
groundwork?
the biggest mistake is the lack of knowledge. I was to say, because
Mm,
none of us have the
mm,
right knowledge. So when you are rushing
mm,
to do the digital transformation itself is a very big word. When we are talking about AI, we are really at the beginning of that cycle.
right.
So when you're investing so much of time, energy, money, if you are not having right set of people who
Mm,
are trained and can actually implement the right
mm,
set of tools for you and do the automation, it
mm,
will really jeopardize. I think knowledge is the critical factor. People who are doing
mm,
your digital transformation,
mm,
they are implementing it, they really need to have right set of knowledge. If they are not having, just doing because they are doing other projects
right.
as well, it will not help you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, like talking about digital transformation, I think it goes beyond technology. It's also about, the culture and the mindset. So, do you have any advice for leaders who want to create a digital culture or a transformative culture within their organization? Because again, culture is a tricky thing
It's
to
a very
change.
tricky thing, and I would always say that the organizations are not focusing on it. They think, okay,
Mm,
we were using X version of that technology. Now we'll be using 2X version of that technology, maybe 2.0 version of the technology, and people will automatically get on that bandwagon. You are not changing the mindset. You are not
mm,
making them understand that, okay, why you need to change from this X.0 to 2.0. If you're not helping them understand why they need to, why, what will help them, it is a totally disaster. You
mm,
will not have that adoption. And culture is one thing that is very important, because you are thinking that, okay, from paperwork you are getting onto a automation, but that will not help, because the mind need to
mm,
understand why they are doing it. If you're not changing the culture of your organization,
right,
it will definitely fail. The only way
right, right.
changing the culture.
So, yes, Manisha. Right, right. I think culture is a really tricky thing to change, and the pace in which digital transformation is happening, the pace in which technology is coming into play, and the pace in which people actually adopt, and the change in culture is not really something which syncs all together. So I think there actually the imbalance lies when it comes, taking into consideration people, culture, and the technology altogether. So, Manisha, lastly, if you could share one piece of advice for companies starting their digital transformation journey, what would it be? And what they should definitely avoid?
What they should definitely avoid is not having a clear roadmap, not having a right stakeholders, not having a right set of knowledgeable people.
Mhm.
If they do not have all these three, I think they will not be able to see the fruits of their investments. And we keep seeing this in every other project that we do. So I think these three things are very essential.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, Manisha, thank you for joining us today. Your insights on digital transformation, leadership, and how to align, these business strategies with technology are truly invaluable.
Thanks
So,
for
yeah,
having me.
thank you so much.